News Talk 610 CKTB. Online at 610ckTB.com. Join the conversation. This is Tim Dennis in the Morning.
Hi, Lee Sterry sitting in for Tim today. Tim is on vacation. It's 20 minutes after 7, Wednesday, May 20th, 2015, and we have mentioned this many times before and will continue to do so. 610 CKTB, very proud to support the initiative Help Kids Shine campaign 2015. It's an awareness raiser, also a fundraiser for the Niagara Children's Center. And our way of doing that is to connect with people that either work in, with, or are helped by the Niagara Children's Center. And we have two of those great people on the air with us right now, Gabe and Amber Lucci. They are mother and father of two children that use the services at Niagara Children's Center. Mr. and Mrs. Lucci, welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us about your kids. Who are they?
So we have our youngest son and our youngest child, our daughter, who attend the center. Zenek is 2.5 now. He was born profoundly deaf, and he now has a cochlear implant and a hearing aid. And our daughter was also born profoundly deaf with some other health problems, and she also now has bilateral cochlear implants, which means she has a cochlear implant in both ears.
Mm-hmm.
And she and Zenek both attend a special therapy at the Children's Center called audioverbal therapy.
So when did you discover that your children both had this problem? Is it a difficult thing for you to catch early?
We had no idea with our son that he had hearing loss. It was a huge emotional blow for us because when we did find out, he was almost 3 months old. And I suffer from hearing loss in one ear, and I found it difficult, especially at school. But we thought he was going to be completely, we'll say, cut off from society.
Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult in the sense that when he did go through the infant hearing program, they do screen every infant that's born. He was a late diagnosis.
Right.
So to us it was shocking, and we felt like, wow, we really dropped the ball because we didn't recognize.
There must have been a sense of guilt for you there that probably not warranted, but you probably felt that way anyway.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We thought, what did we do wrong? Is there something we could have done differently? And then with our daughter, because of what happened with our son, we weren't intending on having more children, but when she was born, it was about the 4th day of life for her that I said to my husband, she can't hear us. Nothing's waking her up. Nothing's startling her. We should get her checked early. And we knew by 10 days of age that she had hearing loss.
Okay, then what steps do you take? What sort of ordeal do you then go through?
So the infant hearing program, which is run by the Ministry of Health, they actually assign a social worker as soon as any hearing loss is found. And that's fantastic. They have access to all the resources that we need. We knew ahead of time that we wanted to get cochlear implants for them, and we did that through the Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. And we were also referred right away to the Children's Center for the auditory verbal therapy. And we started that even before they had the implants, when they still had the hearing aids. And that's it's not just speech therapy. It's teaching them to listen and imitate what they listen, and that's really how all kids learn. But because they aren't hearing properly, you have to do. It's a little more specialized. So it's a lot of repeating, a lot of creating situations where we can repeat things in context and try to get them to repeat us. So it's really trying to catch up on the time that they haven't been hearing. Because the cochlear implants are great, but they were turned on for both of them at around 12 months. So that's a full year lost of their speech development.
Right. How has their speech developed?
Really well. Zenek has had his implant for 1.5 years now, and he's 2.5 now, and he is just starting to say words that other people understand, not just us. So he's really coming along, and we're, in the last even month, we've heard him come out with sentences, and so it's been exciting.
And as for our daughter, her implants were actually just activated on May 6th. So for her, she now has to start that whole babbling process that an infant goes through, because
Right.
up until now, all she really did was cry. There was no discriminatory sound of raspberries or that mama dada sound. Like nothing like that would come from her. So
But that's beginning now.
Yes, it was actually fascinating and exciting all at once. Within a couple of days of the implant being activated, she started making new sounds we had never heard her make before.
You said exciting. I can't imagine as parents of a child that's going through that, what that must have felt like for you when she started to communicate with you.
It's breathtaking. I don't know how else to describe it. It's such a gift that they can hear, and it's such a gift that we have the access to the center to give us the tools we need to teach our children to listen and to speak. I have no words for it. It's so amazing, and without the center and the help that we get, we would really be lost. I mean, the therapy that they provide is so specialized, because the audio-verbal therapy we can't get anywhere else in Niagara. And the staff there have been just overwhelmingly accepting of our children and their needs and their abilities, and even ours as parents and adults. There were times I'd go in there and I'd be tearful because I felt so frustrated because I saw no change in how our son was communicating with us, or our daughter. But they're so reassuring that, just keep plugging at it and we'll work together and it'll happen. And I mean, now our 2.5-year-old, he went from not talking, just like our daughter, to being able to say, "I love you." And
wow.
It's so wonderful.
It must be another huge benefit of working with the people at the center, because not only do they obviously have the skills to help your children, but it's probably, based on what you were saying, a very, very big part of this process that they can keep your spirits up through this as well, and keep you confident that you're on the right track.
Yeah, definitely. And being on the right track is really the whole point of it. Is the goal is to have them on par with their peers by the time they start school, and catching it early was a big deal for that. So we do have a year to catch up on, but it is only a year. Some kids with hearing loss don't get caught until much later. And with Zenek, we feel like we're pretty much on track for him to be ready for school at the normal age that everybody else would be.
So that's the dates and benchmarks that have been set, you're keeping. Everything looks good at this point.
Yeah, so far.
Great. Now, we only have about a minute left here, guys. Can you give us any advice for parents of young children that what are some of the signs that they should be looking at? You mentioned one earlier, like not reacting. Is there anything else that parents of young children should be looking for?
I mean, that's mostly it. When they're not reacting to loud noises. I mean, we remember with Sasha what kind of sealed the deal. I remember her laying on the floor and something fell beside her, and she didn't even flinch. The biggest thing is just following through on the screening test, because now I believe they have you go somewhere. They kind of give you an appointment to go somewhere and get their hearing checked. So it's something that really shouldn't be skipped. I mean, there's a lot of tests that usually are uneventful when a newborn comes along. But if that's a problem, it's best to catch it as early as possible.
But Gabe and Amber Lucci, thank you very much for joining us and speaking on behalf of your children. It's wonderful the progress they're making, and obviously thanks to the Niagara Children's Center. So thank you guys for being here to tell your story.
Thank you for the opportunity.